journaling time.
Oh yeah, what's up, party people?
Hello, happy Wednesday, everyone.
Happy Wednesday. We've already got people in the house. I guess we're a minute late. Oh no.
Oh, wow. We got a conversation going.
Gabby's here, back from the Mojave Desert.
Ooh, fabulous.
Cool. Glad you're back with us.
Yeah.
Carrie's here.
Hi, Carrie.
Hudson Valley, cooling off. Yeah, we're cooling off ourselves, but it's I don't know, it's an air conditioning issue. Geeky Witch, good evening. Heat wave is finally breaking here in Rhode Island. Okay. Good deal.
Happy to hear it.
Shenda, early. I love it. You guys are ready. You know what's up? Oh, I'm so unaware of the whenever you guys bring up the weather stuff, I'm like reminded of how little I pay attention to,
What's going on in like other parts of the
I
country?
can't.
I know,
hard.
it's hard.
It's like we've got a lot going on over here, and that's why I need these Wednesdays just to even process what we've got going on. Let alone worrying about everything else. But I'm glad everyone seems to be doing pretty well. Got Catherine here from Lowell. Welcome.
Awesome. Hello.
La Francis. Hey, what's good? Awesome. Everyone's here. Good deal.
Very cool.
Got the Gray Midwest, Deidre. Okay, nice.
Hi there.
Erica, what's up? An Oregonian? Is that how you say it?
Sounds right.
It sounds right? Letty Cervantes, hello again. Welcome back.
Hi.
El Paso. Awesome. He says central air is not a thing in New York, sadly. Surprisingly, it's not a thing in a lot of these coastal towns we've been visiting in our attempts to find a new home. I'm pretty sure that's necessary.
Yeah.
we get it's not hangry because that's when you're hungry, but whatever, like the angry version of
whenever
being
we're hot, we both get extremely irritable, so it's necessary for our relationship.
95 in Boston.
Oh my goodness.
Yikes.
Wow.
Oh well, hopefully you can jump into like the harbor.
Not bad. Hi
Crystal,
there.
what's up? First timer, 61,
Welcome.
rainy. Okay. I love getting the reports.
I know.
Well, welcome. It seems like we might have a few newbies in the house tonight. So, welcome to Journal Party Live. Welcome to our little club, our little family. We get together. We do this every Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's pretty simple. We just get together. We journal through our newest programs inside of the Journal Party platform together. We release pretty much like one or two new programs every week, and this is my favorite way to debut them. We can kind of see how they work in the wild and get a little bit of feedback. And I've been a journaler for a really long time, but my favorite thing about this is at the end, after we're done journaling, we all share our insights. You never have to show or share what you wrote, but it is just super cool to hang out with everybody every week and hear from some different walks of life. I mean, I'm often surprised at how many assumptions I'm bringing to the table with these things. And, journaling is a powerful practice alone, but it is so much more powerful when you can, break out of whatever your own headspace is and commune with other people. I find there's a lot of discovery and a lot of joy in that. So I think you're really going to like it. The way that it works is my wife and I will take turns reading the prompts that will be showing up on screen here, and we'll journal along with you. And then, like I said, at the very end, we all hang out, we share our insights, and every week. So put it on your calendar, and we rarely miss them. We're humans, so every now and then we have something come up, but got a pretty good attendance rate here. And see, we got a couple more people showing up. Awesome. Yeah, everyone hates the heat, it seems.
Hi, Patricia. Welcome.
What's up, Patricia? All right. Well, Alex, you chose the program for this evening. This is another one that came through our mental health advisory board. So for you newbies out there, it's very important to us that everything that we're releasing is on good authority and of sound best practice psychologically. If we're going to ask you to dig inside of your personal history and whatever's going on inside of your mind. So, Alex, why don't you tell us a little bit about what we got on tap?
Okay, so tonight's guided journaling program is called Criticism to Compassion, and we'll be exploring our inner critic with honesty. That's fun. And self-awareness. We're going to investigate what's really going on beneath the negative self-talk and self-judgment. And, are you trying to protect yourself from something, or are these habits you might have inherited during your childhood? These prompts encourage reflection on the fears and insecurities that fuel self-talk, and they also explore how self-judgment can affect your motivation, creativity, and sense of safety. So I think I will start us off by doing the odds when we get going. Yeah.
Cool. Well, and you said something pretty important here, and I want to, it bears repeating. It's super important to be honest with yourself in this. Nobody is going to be reading or checking or grading your work. This is for you, and this is your space. So I always encourage people to be bold, be brave, be courageous if you can. If something difficult comes up, the best part about this is that you have it written down and you can bring it to someone who can help you work through that. That said, I don't think that this one's going to be too difficult tonight, hopefully. But then again, we've all got different experiences. And I know that I'm not alone in having an inner critic that can sometimes be a little bit mean to me.
They're all a bunch of jerks. Let's be honest. Every one of us are inner critics. All a bunch of jerks.
And we got a VIP in the house.
Hello.
We got,
hi, Mom.
Yes, hi, Mom. This is girl Alex's mom. Happy belated Mother's Day.
Yes.
I guess she's back from her
yes,
trip.
Welcome back from your European vacation.
Amazing.
Thanks
awesome.
for
thank you
us,
for
Mom.
producing such an amazing woman to be my wife, and love you, miss you. So hopefully see you soon. All right, folks. Well, let us know in the chat if you're ready to get this party started. Go ahead and get your journal ready. Make sure you got a snack or a beverage handy if you like. And we'll get started in just a minute. Once I see enough people, let me know that we're ready. In the meantime, go ahead, like and subscribe, and hit the little bell icon so you don't miss when we're live. If you're journal party live. All right. It's Alex's mom. Yes, it is. All right, let me get our little ticker going so people who are just showing up late know what is going on. All right, I think it's time to get this party started. What do you say, Alex?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go.
Right. Number 1, the voice that arrives. Capture a recent moment when your inner critic showed up strongly. What exactly did it say? When did it appear? And how did your body respond as those words moved through you?
All right. What it thinks it prevents. Imagine your self-critical voice believes it is protecting you from something. What failure, rejection, embarrassment, or disappointment does it seem most afraid of, and how can you tell?
The cost of constant correction. Write about what happens to your motivation, creativity, relationships, or sense of safety when you are corrected from the inside all day long. What has this tone cost you lately?
All right. Standards that are actually mine. Look at one expectation you carry about who you should be. Does it feel deeply yours, or does it sound inherited from fear, family, culture, or comparison? Explore what changes when you tell the truth about where that standard came from.
A different tone. Choose one struggle you are facing right now and rewrite the inner conversation around it in a steadier, kinder voice. What does accountability sound like when it is not built on contempt?
Hey, we did it.
Awesome.
Yay. All right.
Yeah.
How'd everyone do with that? Let us know in the chat. I know I had a fun
tell
time
us about
with that.
your experience.
Well, I've got an interesting relationship with my inner critic because I've actually done a lot of work on it. And so it's an interesting thing, like when you're hyper aware of all this stuff, but it like happens anyway. And I find that like it doesn't stop it from happening, but I can catch myself when I'm being a jerk to myself a little bit more now. And I've learned through that work that it is a good thing to, sometimes put it in its place. I actually have this really it's kind of a silly thing. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of NLP or neuro-linguistic programming. It's kind of one of those things that like some people like, some people don't, or whatever. But I think I learned an interesting thing from an NLP practitioner where you kind of imagine the voice in your head, especially when it's being really mean and hypercritical, and like you can manipulate it. So instead of it being like this big like dominating voice that like you're afraid of or scares you or something like that, like you make it have like a little Minnie Mouse voice, and instead of it being this like big overwhelming presence, like I like to put it onto the thumb, like so he's like just a little version of me, and he's like, oh, what are you doing? and then it's like you can just kind of like flick them off. Well, that's not flicking someone. Yeah. Well, you know what I mean, like literally. Yeah. And that's kind of helpful when I can remember to do it, and it is kind of powerful because it kind of neutralizes something that can be intense in the moment. But I think overall, I am striving to just be in like a better state of operation in general with all that stuff. And I was actually pretty proud of myself in this because I was able to notice when I had handled things effectively there, but it still shows up. And I think a lot of it on my end is due to just the way I was brought up and the way that I thought that I needed to get love in my my life and my my household situation and stuff. I mean, I came from like a really great family. They lots of love there, and that said, I had an older brother who was just like a genius, went to Harvard and got rich on Wall Street, was in the Marine Corps, like guy could be president, like that kind of guy. And he's 10 years older than me. So I had this really crazy template and these really big shoes to fill from an early age. Like imagine being 8 years old and thinking that like, if you don't get into Harvard, you're a failure. Like that's legit a thought that I had recurring like during like my, my earlier school years and stuff. I've had to learn that lesson over and over again. That we're just different. I have different, things that make me valuable and unique and special and all that. But it was, it's kind of tough because I think that like, I was so happy for my brother and, obviously those are things you want to cheer on. And so like, I think, one of the things I've sort of realized is like, I think maybe my parents and my mom like sort of, thought that's what I wanted. And so of course they would try to hold me accountable to those things. But like what it felt like to me was like this soul crushing pressure to where, it's like, I remember my first grade teacher had to have a talk with my parents because I wasn't playing like during like the playtime, like, cause I didn't feel like I earned it. And I would just start like trying to build things and stuff like that. So like mine had, in terms of like the expectations and stuff, there was a lot of stuff around like, not being lazy, being hardworking, making sure that, you're contributing and that everything is fair, that you're honest, that you're a good person. And it's like, I still want to own all that. Like, I still want to be a hard worker. I still want to be smart, clever and fair and, an honest person and everything like that. But I think, that particular prompt that addressed those expectations, where I landed on it was that that it doesn't need to be attached to other people. Like so much of this, I think where I get caught up is like needing that approval or that love from other people. And, I'm probably not the only people pleaser on here, and it's like, that's how I sort of learned to navigate. But when you detach it from, the good opinion of others and, you let go of the need of that, it's like, I can still be hardworking, but you know what? I can also be nice to myself. Like I can also acknowledge the things that, that have been done well. And you know what? Like nobody bats 1,000 and that's okay, but it doesn't need to be this like existential thing that I'm beating myself up about. And like, it certainly doesn't need, to be the kind of thing that, hurts my confidence and prevents me from like enjoying things out and about in the world. So, it's fun to pick that apart a little bit and work in progress, but really, really valuable stuff to pull out. And I especially like the part where it's like, even earlier on in the prompts, it's just like pick something out recently, because it's like we can all say that we're doing this, but it's like it is really powerful to just like pick out something like even in the past week that you maybe had trouble with, and it's like, all right, like keep going.
Yeah.
How about you?
Well, I think it was a very interesting program. Midway through, I kind of tapped into a part of myself that, like you were saying, Alex, you've done so much work on yourself and therapy and whatnot. And I've worked so hard to, deal with my inner critic. And I'm a lot nicer to myself than I used to be. But it definitely tapped into those years of feeling like a failure and really just, I don't know if self-hatred's quite the word, but definitely just looking down on myself constantly and just having this constant narrative in my head that I'm not good enough. So it definitely hit kind of hard there for a minute. I even found myself like sinking into my chair, just that like feeling of just like having to get really little. And, it's just so beautiful that, time has passed and I have been able to, of course, again, we all deal with our inner critic, whether we like it or not, but it's not, she's not quite as loud as she used to be, which is a really lovely thing. So, I definitely, another big thing in there was, expectations as a woman that I feel from society. As I am not a mother and I'm not quite sure if that is part of our journey, but that's something just as a woman, again, you are either told from your family or society or no one, if you're lucky enough, just not to have that added pressure. But yeah, there's definitely an expectation, I think, for women to at least strongly consider, having a child. And so I think that was just a really big one that at my age, I am definitely confronted with at this point. So that was really interesting. But, by the end of it, I love the last question where, essentially we have to, let's see, what was it? Well, anyways, I just by the end of it realized that, I need to talk to myself the way I would talk to a good friend of mine. And what would I actually say to them? And so,
what's the healthy version?
Yeah, what's the healthy version of this? And by the end, I was feeling uplifted and empowered. And it's a beautiful thing being able to even just bounce around in all of in that, that spectrum of emotions in such a short period of time. It's okay to tap into those things, but I love that hopefully by the end of it, you were able to kind of pull yourself out of maybe any funk that might have come up for you. So, yeah, but let's see what everyone else is saying.
Let's see what's going on. I see we got a couple really interesting things popping into the chat. Let me scroll up, give me a second here. All right. Kathy said, an outsider triggered it in my inner critic yesterday. While I was at an appointment with my forever baby, I grinned my teeth so hard and bit my inside cheek till I bled. Wow, people suck sometimes. And I was grateful for therapy today to work through it. Wow. I admire your restraint, in a difficult moment. And what a cool thing to know that you have an outlet. Yes. It's like, these things are going to, we're all going to have things that trigger us and set us off and stuff like that. And, I think as adults who are, working on ourselves, it's good to know what your outlets are, where, where's your support. And, it sounds like wisdom got in the way of something that it was already a bad time. It could have been a worse time. So,
you should be proud of yourself, Kathy, because you dealt with that the best way possible.
Geeky Witch, welcome, Renee. Oh, awesome. Yeah, I love it when you guys support each other and help each other out, especially the newbies. And hope all the newbies found this good. Let us know, how you found it. All right. Okay, this must have been during the journaling here. You don't need to aim for perfection, aim for purpose. Ooh, I need that tattooed on my eyelids. My conversation with my inner critic right now. Yeah. I was circling the idea of perfection a lot as well. I think it nothing wrong with trying to do a good job or, strive for greatness and stuff like that. But perfection is not a thing for human beings. So it is an impossible standard to hold. And you're going to have a bad time if you do. But purpose, love that. Right. And I'm going to try to remember that, because if I was looking through that lens, I would feel a lot better, a lot, because I don't think I think most of what I do is purposeful, and I'm not nice enough to myself about that. And so that's good. And then the other thing that I was thinking, especially as you were talking, is we didn't discuss affirmations in here. We have a lot of prompts that, work through affirmations and stuff. But I think, especially where we're talking about, saying something to yourself, if you catch yourself saying something to yourself over and over again, that's a negative affirmation, what's the positive affirmation? What's the right version of that? And how can you get out in front of that? Kathy said, my expectations are 100% inherited from outside of myself. They came from constant family comparisons and fear of rejection that need to be perfectly invisible while still being noticed in a loving way stays at war within me. Wow. Yeah, that's deep. Well, hopefully, it sounds like that you're familiar with that, process that happens in you when you think about that stuff. And the awareness is high there. So, sorry, that sounds difficult, but, we know you got it for sure. Kathy Poo, I hear you. I love that. Thank you guys for supporting each other.
Absolutely.
Kathy said, my therapist is helping me to learn how to rewrite my inner conversations because right now I spiral with bringing up past traumas that proves the voices in my head. Like the evidence is already built, but it's not necessarily fully factual.
Wow.
That's deep, Kathy. Wow. I mean, what an interesting thought. There's something in you that wants, like, it's trying to prove all of that to you. I'm so glad that you're working with a therapist on this because, I mean, in our limited engagement, I mean, we've known each other for a while now, actually, right? I've seen each other just about every week, and every week, that I see so much strength come out of you, and just stuff that would refute probably any of this stuff that is coming up. It is interesting though that there's something within us, that will try to argue for our limitations, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's definitely a quote, argue for your limitations and they're yours, right? So, or some to that effect. People always come in with their correct quote when I can't think of it. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that you're addressing that because what does it look like to go the other way? Like, make a case for yourself because look, if we were in a courtroom right now deciding whether you were enough, worthy, and a good person, listen, your counsel, I would be lining up to bear witness for you. So
I'm proud of you for doing the work, Kathy. That takes a lot of guts to confront these kinds of issues and be actively working on them in therapy. So you should be proud of yourself. I know it's hard, but you are doing the work, and that's all that matters.
Gabby said, my inner critic gets to me, but I am learning not to listen to my inner critic anymore.
Good. Yeah. I think the inner critic, depending on, what's going on in your life, tends to get a little quieter over time. Just as we mature, we learn. I would like to think, over time that, we start to realize like, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't necessarily,
Yeah. Well, I mean, and, think about just the idea of an inner critic. I mean, there's a part of that can be healthy. Like, criticism, can be really good. In companies that I work for, or, whenever I turn in work and stuff, it's like, sometimes, you get really good constructive criticism and it helps you get to the next level. It helps you be better. I think what we need to get to though, is not having it not be a jerk. And not having it, also not having it lie to you, right? Like, it's one thing if it's true and there's something that you can do. Obviously, don't beat yourself up over something like that. But I know I'm not alone here. That sometimes the inner critic just like an a-hole.
Oh yeah, no, the inner critic is a jerk and
a bully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gina said, I had to be perfect for my adoptive parents. Wow. And I worked through a lot of that, but it does pop up periodically. I remember my perfect grades being critiqued because there's no way you got a perfect grade. Oh, well, it makes my heart hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't hit me until I was an adult with children how much that affected me.
No, that's a lot. That's a perspective. I don't understand the adoptive parents, but I can only imagine. That's very difficult. I'm so sorry to hear that.
Yeah, I mean, and you kind of hinted this at the end, but that awareness is going to I don't know if you can ever make something like that right, but you know what? Like, you're correcting the record going forward.
Absolutely,
with your kids, and that's super important. And I always hate to hear about like some of the wounds that were inflicted in the past. The reality is we can't change that, but it sounds like you're not going to let anything like that happen, to the people that you're responsible for. And, hopefully this was healing in a way for you. Kathy says, my self-critic believes it's protecting me from rejection and embarrassment, causing me not to write, not to paint, to withdraw from everyone. Yeah. Mine that tries to prevent me from embarrassment too. I think that's like, that is like, I just hate being embarrassed and losing face. especially with like creative works. I can speak to that because I've been, an artist for a lot of my life, and I've always tried to explore some creative endeavors. For me, that shows up as perfectionism, where like I will tweak something or make different versions of something, and over and over again, iterating and iterating, because I'm scared to actually release it and potentially get hurt. And I'm not really sure what the right answer for that is. I mean, like, because some of it's like, well, who are you creating for? Are you creating for you, or well, certainly not people that would be mean to you, right? But yeah, don't let it steal joy from you. Don't let it steal a great outlet like painting or writing from you. Certainly not when we see this level of awareness, from an individual. And if it's something that brings you joy, like yeah, definitely don't let it steal that from you. But that fear is totally real, and you're not alone in that. And I think for me that would be like a letting go of the need for approval kind of thing. Like, Kathy, I can tell you right now, you don't need anyone's approval. And you know what, like, you've already demonstrated that you can handle difficult people. So easy for me to say, but I wouldn't be, if I were you, I wouldn't be afraid of that, I don't think. And yeah, the other side of it is like, hey, what would it be like if what would it be like if you like change someone's world with your words or your art or something like that? Like, what I mean, it's so easy to go to the places that we don't want to go, but like, what would it look like if it went really well? I don't know. Play in that space for a little bit. See what happens. Shanda says, I have to fight myself to not be lazy because I rebel against my mother deciding that what I was going to do and how well I was going to do it. She's my annoying inner voice.
Yeah.
I know about that.
Yeah. Mom, I love you.
Yeah.
I'm not referencing you, Mom, but I understand that sentiment, like, of of how people in our
mom's here.
No, Mom, I'm not talking about you. We all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, that's understandable. And
I wonder, do you actually hear her voice? That's interesting. Like, my mom isn't my inner voice, but it informed some of it, and which I feel bad about, because I actually have a great relationship with my mother. And I think, like, as I get older, like, I realize, like, wow, like, I'm older than my mom was, like, like, probably when a lot of these things were happening at this point. And I still feel like a kid. I mess up all the time. So, like, I definitely have a little bit of, like, there's a little bit of grace there. But, it's still there. It's, I like that you take the rebel. My whole identity was wrapped up in being good. I'm going to be a goody two shoes and not mess up, and so, I'm kind of jealous. My little brother was the rebel. He was the one who was like, yeah, what are you going to do? Or they tell him to do something, be like, no. My mom was telling me as an adult, she's like, I didn't know they could say no.
That's so funny.
Gary said, we need to remember that tearing ourselves down does nothing to help us. We need to focus on building ourselves up. Yeah, constructive, right? Mm-hmm. Criticism is not always bad, but it is bad if it takes you out of the game, for sure.
Yeah.
Kathy said, constant correction has cost me my confidence and whimsiness. It has cost me being authentically myself. Well, not totally. I mean, you show up authentically all the time. Don't, careful not to reaffirm these, the ground that you perceive to have lost. It is yours to reclaim fully.
I agree with that, Kathy.
And it's, again, and with all of your shares, like, I just see so much awareness. So I'm not worried about your ability to navigate all of this. But thanks for being honest and courageous and vulnerable and brave. Like, I mean, we definitely, like, journaling doesn't always have to be super deep or like really intense or anything like that. We have fun prompts and stuff like that. But, like, you know what, like, when you're brave and courageous on these pages, and you bear witness to that does something. that really does something. And I hope that helps you reclaim some of that confidence in whimsiness, because you are absolutely worthy of it. Carrie says, but easier said than done. It's a struggle for me daily. Yes, all of us. Neuroses are serious. All right. Geeky Witch says, my inner critic tends to get the outer me into a little trouble with my mouth at times.
That's funny.
Carrie said, hugs to you, Kathy. I admire your restraint. There you go. Crystal, my inner critic was at first was making me feel hurt. Near the end of the prompts, it actually started to remind me how far I've come.
Yes.
Reminding me to not to take negative people's opinions seriously.
Good for you,
Yeah.
Crystal.
Awesome. I love that transformation. Yeah. For me, it usually happens after about like 2 pages of writing. And I think I clocked that when I started doing like the morning pages from Julia Cameron, because that's literally in her practice. She's like, just brain dump, stream of consciousness, first thing in the morning, 3 pages. And it's like, my first 2 pages are so mean. I want to quit the day. Like, why bother? And then something happens where like, after you get all of it out, it's like it starts to transform. It starts to shift. And it's like, well, but what if we looked at it this way? And then like, that's the space.
You have to get it all out first and foremost,
right.
Which is that's the sucky part, when you have to be honest with yourself and with others and just get it all out. And then you can kind of
but what a relief, right?
No, it's a beautiful thing to be able to, get it out, work through it, move past it.
Right? It's like you ever have a little bit too much to drink and then like you like don't want to throw up, but like you do. And then you feel way better.
Yeah.
It's never happened.
Just like
never
that.
happened.
Just like that.
It's a valuable reminder. Awesome. Patricia said, I have learned and accepted it doesn't matter how many degrees you have or large letters after your name, how you treated others in your life, even people who have hurt you. I'm still learning how to define forgiveness towards others and myself also. Reminds me of that Maya Angelou quote, right? People remember how you made them feel. A little different. But I mean, look, like, you're not going to nobody gets to take their bank account with them when they pass. Nobody gets to take their credentials with them when they pass. We've got this life, be good to yourself and be good to others, and, cut yourself some slack. Like, this is hard, man. This is hard. And I think, just the fact that y'all are here,
Yeah, you've already taken the first step. You're already, willing to work on yourselves, be better. It's a beautiful thing.
Showing up is half the battle, for sure.
100%.
Kathy says, Gina, the punishments I endured for not being perfect is crazy. Me having an adult daughter with disabilities just compounds with every new specialist we encounter. It's so tough. I mean, I was raised in a pretty loving family, but, and I was just, throwing a little shade at my mom, but I have to remind myself too, like, her journey, like, it's a miracle she's not like stabbing people in the streets right now with the abuse that she endured growing up. And, we talked before about, kind of how you take that forward. And thank goodness, like she wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but she tried so hard to make our experience like one that was good and not not unfortunately just tainted by different those kinds of like horrific abuse. I mean, I'm so sorry for anybody who's had to go through that. Again, we can't take it back. And like, that's the hardest thing. Like, I wish I could, like, I wish I could just like, snap or wave a hand and make all of these, the ugliness of the world go away. But, ultimately, we are, as souls, are the operators in this plane. And, our experience is ours. Like, nobody's going through the same exact journey as us. But I think there's that common thread with the soul. And so, whatever, your life situation has produced, if your soul can find a way to be here and present in the here and now, and find a way to interact with us other human beings, us other souls, and from a place of love and hope and forgiveness and all that good stuff. Like, I think maybe that's the healing. I don't know. I really don't know, but I do believe that it's powerful for us to not look away, and to do our best. And thank you so much again, Kathy.
Yeah, thank you.
Mary got it. Mary's always the one with the quotes for me. Argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours. Richard Bach from Illusions, The Reluctant Messiah. I don't even, how is that? What? I don't. Should I read that? Is it good? I don't know. I know the quote though. Thanks, Mary. Adding that book to my TBR. Awesome. Gabby said, I'm going to my therapist, and we were talking about how we can refix and heal my inner critic over the summer. I'm going to heal my inner critic and my self-control and change my behavior.
Good for you, Gabby.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That the power is yours.
Exactly.
I believe in you.
Absolutely.
We're rooting for you. Gina said, Kathy, I completely get it. I have an autistic son, and sometimes I was being punished for something. Now I realize I'm being taught so much by him. It has definitely been a journey. Hugs. Guys.
Yeah, you guys are incredible.
Mary says, the inner critic, the ultimate killer of joy and dreams. Time to rise above our inner bully. Oh.
That's right. Yes, Mary.
Shanda, yes, I actually hear her tone and everything. Mm-hmm. That's amazing. Well, try my little trick.
Exactly.
Kathy says, Chandra, I have multiple inner voices, and it makes it so hard to fight them back. Oof. Well, observe and work with your people for that. I know you got good people working with you. Gina says, tonight was very healing.
Oh, good. Yay! Awesome.
Good.
Even, despite all of the therapy I do and I've done and I will continue to do for the rest of my life, there's something about journaling that opens up little portals that I'm not able to necessarily get to in therapy, and things that don't naturally come up in conversation. So I just have to say, I think it's just such a beautiful thing. And I love seeing so many of us are in therapy and working on ourselves, and we want better for ourselves, and we will get there. That's all.
Oh, I didn't realize we clicked this one. Yeah, check out The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. Very good. And the artist dates that you've been doing. Mary's been going on the part of the book, you take yourself on little artist dates. Like Mary was going on picnics and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Gina says, brain dump the sucky parts. Yep. Yes. Kathy says, Gina, isn't amazing how much they teach us, especially when the outside world says we're supposed to be teaching them. Hugs. Yep. Yeah. I mean, look, the most difficult things in our lives are, and the most challenging things can often be our greatest teachers. And what a powerful realization, because you can, look, when difficulty arises, it's hard not to resent it sometimes. Some of you know about our situation with our pup, and having to deal with that. And sometimes you want it to stop. You want a break or whatever it is. And I just, I hope nobody's judging themselves too harshly for, thoughts that are difficult are going to come up around this. But the fact that you guys are all here and working on this and, working on your situations and showing up day after day, that means that the love is really there. And there's going to be nobody's batting 1,000 on any of this stuff. But, you guys all are, I'm so proud of you all. You have, such, there's such a good seed in all of this. And, on one hand, we have our individual things that we're all working through, and we've all got different stuff. It's going to be challenging in different ways. But there's also that collective, and I I don't know, like maybe this is like airy fairy or like woo woo or whatever, but like I also think that there's something to the fact that like when we work on ourselves, like I do believe that like the collective improves.
Oh, 100%.
It's like holographic or something like that. Like if the as you rise, like we all do. Like it's like I can kind of like feel some of your catharsis, and I think it like I'm telling you, these Wednesday nights, I feel so good when it's done. It's rare for me to feel good going into it. I'll be totally honest. Like Wednesdays, I burn myself out like by midweek, and like I'm like, oh, like I don't even know if I got it in me. And then like, we do these things, and the work on myself, sure. Like a lot of times, I'm okay, feeling good, and then like after like just going through all of this stuff with you guys, like it's what a powerful thing. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Gabby says, I'm going to bring this up with my therapist next week.
Good
Great
call,
topic.
Gabby. Yes.
My inner critic used to get me in trouble and make up stories to get myself into bigger trouble.
Your inner critic's a big old meanie. As they all are. Isn't it crazy what they're capable of doing?
Insane. Well, not insane. It's just, they can be clever and tricky. Letty Cervantes says, it took me a long time to realize what one of my patients mentioned once. Done does not have to be perfect. I believe Alex also mentioned something about our voices. I focus on living my life. Yeah. Well, so much of what was coming up for me was like how my inner voice was robbing me from the ability to like actually fully live.
Yeah.
When I'm up in here like that. No, like give me. I want to be here with everybody, not in some imagined future or regretting the past or something like that. Mm-hmm. Here and now, baby.
Yep.
With manifestations and affirmations loud. Kathy Poo says, my kids are my foundation from which I'm rebuilding me from the framework of childhood trauma. By not being what others tried to make me, I gave my kids permission to be whoever they want to be. And what a gift.
That is a huge gift. That's exactly what I was going to say. That's a beautiful thing, Kathy, and taking these trials and tribulations and, turning it into a better life for your children. That's a beautiful thing. And again, you should be very proud of yourself because as we know with generational trauma, sometimes people don't stand up and say, hey, wait a minute, I don't want this to be the life going forward for my own children. Let me do something about it. So you should be very, very proud of yourself because that's...
Especially because that probably can feel like standing in front of a tidal wave sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I admire all of your strength and all of your courage, everyone. Thank you so much for showing up and doing this work with us. And, keep on journaling. Party on. This is amazing. Really awesome session, everyone. Really appreciate it. Definitely let us know. Send us an email or get in our DMs. Let us know what you want to be journaling about in the future. We've got our events coordinator over here. She's picking the programs that we're going through every week and setting everything up and allowing me to totally nerd out and build the app and stuff for you guys. So we're jamming, everybody. I love it. We've got a ton going on. It is incredibly challenging and incredibly difficult, but I'm excited to, hit the back half of this week being a little bit nicer and forgiving to myself, and also just like have a little bit of enthusiasm. I caught myself waking up with like a little bit of dread today, and I'm so glad that in this hour we have shifted that, and like I'm just stoked. I'm stoked to continue and continue doing all this with everybody. So everyone, thank you again. I can't say thank you enough. You guys are the party people, and you make this. We wouldn't do this if you guys weren't showing up like this. So keep showing up, and we'll keep showing up for you. What do we got on tap? What's the next week?
So next week, the title of our program is Moments Become Memory.
Oh, that's right. We did that live.
Yeah, we just did this program that I wrote at our live event in San Diego, and it was really wonderful. And so we'll tap into memory creation and, just all the ways to be I'm trying to think of because I've been working on 2 of them, but essentially just, making sure that we really value these moments that we share with our families, and, we traditions we want to carry forward, traditions we want to evolve and carry forward. So yeah, we'll tap into a whole bunch of stuff, but memory creation is kind of the goal of next week. So.
Well, and we did a little sneak peek of it when we journaled through this on Sunday in San Diego, and it was an awesome program. Everyone had a really great time, so I know you're going to love it. So tune in next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard, 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And join the challenge if you are struggling, sticking with your journal. Pretty easy. Go to journalparty.com/challenge. If you already have the challenge and you don't have access for whatever reason, we have a new app. There's a lot of, things going on. Just send me an email. We'll hook it up. All right. Love you all. Have a great